I have a new indie collection to play with today. This is the collection between Blend Bunny and MEI. I'm so excited. These are such fun products, a very unique collection. I'm going to start off with information about the collection, close-up swatches, etc. Then I'm going to show you the 2 looks that I create, and at the end I give you my initial thoughts. Now this is not a full review. I do have to use these products more than twice to get my full and final thoughts, but this kind of just shows what kinds of looks you can get out of the collection. Is this the usual good Blend Bunny formula? I'm pretty familiar with their formulas, so I will let you know that as well. And let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Did you pick this up? Did you skip on it? Are you going to put it on a wish list and pick it up in the future? Let me know. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Rachel. Welcome to the channel. I would love for you to stick around and subscribe, especially if you enjoy indie makeup content. I do a lot of that over here. We have a new collection from Blend Bunny, and this is a collaboration collection between Blend Bunny and MEI. Now, MEI is an Instagram creator mostly. She has 3.4 followers on Instagram, so she has quite a following, and she is a makeup artist and a tattoo enthusiast. I will link MEI's socials down below in the description box. She creates the most beautiful creative looks. If that is something you're interested in, I would definitely check her out. And they created a absolutely gorgeous and unique collection with these 3 products. So let's go through the 3 products. The first one is the Rotten palette. It is a 20 pan matte shadow palette. And if you've been here before, you know I love the Blend Bunny matte formula. Sorry if I'm talking so fast. I'm on my 2nd coffee of the day. And it's not even 9:30, so here we are. This palette, first of all, let's talk about the outside. We have fuzzy, velvety touch elements to like the white parts of the graphic. Very pleasing to my senses. And the actual palette itself is like a soft matte. This is a really nice small palette for Blend Bunny. It's very compact. I love the size of this. It would be perfect for traveling. And on the inside, we have this gorgeous, grungy color story. Again, all mattes. We have a mix of warm and cool tones. So this palette retails for $42. The Rotten Artistry palette reimagines the unexpected beauty of Decay, translating grotesquely magnificent tones of mold into 20 avant-garde shades. Each pigment was curated from nature's most hauntingly gorgeous palette in their most intoxicating, nasty, damp, velvety forms. Then we have the Efflorescence palette. So this is a 6 iridescent shade palette. It comes in a really slim packaging. Again, I would think really perfect for traveling. All of the pans in this and the matte palette are magnetic, by the way. So you can pop them out, rearrange them, create your own custom palette with other Blend Bunny shadows as well. So this palette is so gorgeous. I did already swatch these products, and I will say the texture of them feels a little more on the dry side, which I personally like, because a lot of times when brands do these types of shadows and they're overly emollient, they can almost feel like squishy or sticky or chunky, and these don't feel that way at all. I really feel like they're going to translate well as highlighters, or of course on the eyes. They do have more of a transparent base, but an iridescent shift to them. So excited to try these out on the face as well as the eyes. Let me give you a little information about this. So this retails for $32. It says, efflorescence, the process where water evaporates, leaving behind crystalline deposits. Like delicate frost etching itself across forgotten walls, it's a phenomenon of transformation, the residue of something fleeting becoming something eternal. So very excited to try this, of course. And then lastly, we have a lip glaze in the shade Blue Tears. This I swatched on my hand, and it is very pigmented if you do it just like in a one swipe form. So this retails for $15. It says, inspired by bioluminescent algae, often called blue tears, this glaze captures the beauty of one of nature's most stunning phenomena. With a stormy translucent gray base, suspended prismatic sparkles shift seamlessly from electric blue to violet as light moves across the lips. Infused with a delicate honey essence, the formula glides on as a semi-sheer veil, drenching lips in a radiant gloss-like finish without the heaviness or tack of traditional gloss. All of the products were made in China. They're all cruelty-free and vegan. Okay, so really quickly, I just want to do a couple of quick comparisons to Blend Bunny palettes that when I looked at this palette, without even like really pulling out the other palettes, just in my mind, thoughts that maybe they would be similar, but after pulling them out and looking at them, I don't think that this palette is similar to any previous palettes that they've come out with. But just for the sake of it, in case you're wondering, here's the Rotten palette. I'm gonna hold on the right side. And then I pulled out the Surge palette. So the Surge palette, was this their very first palette? It's one of the very first palettes Blend Bunny ever came out with. When I looked at this, I thought maybe there could be some comparisons to Surge. Surge does have shimmers in it though, so that's the first difference. The other difference is, even though Surge does have some grungy tones, it also has a lot of neon tones, which I think is a unique thing to this palette. But as you can see in the Surge palette, especially in the deep dark row, there probably is some, similarities, but I would say overall, not exactly the same, but wanted to hold those up next to each other just in case you were wondering. The other immediate thought came to mind was the Machina palette, although again, after looking at this, not similar, because also Machina has shimmers, which Rotten doesn't. But I do also think Machina has more bright tones, those brighter reds, pinks, purples. There are some grungier tones in Machina, but I would say a lot more grungy, muted tones in the Rotten. So again, wanted to hold those up just in case you were wondering like I was. I would say Surge is the closest, but they're not dupes by any means, in my opinion. So anyway, I'm so excited to try these products out for you today. Would love to know your thoughts down in the comments as you're watching this video. What do you think about the collection? Let me know. And I did receive this collection in PR from the brand, and I do have an affiliate code. My affiliate code is Rachel. It will save you 10% off your purchase at Blend Bunny. It is affiliated, which means I earn a small commission from the sale. So thank you so much if you do decide to use my code. I am going to link what I'm wearing on my face in both looks down below in the description box as well, in case you're wondering. And this collection is already available at the moment that you're seeing this video, so I will link it down below if you want to check it out. And now let's get to look number 1. So I have already primed my eyes, and I think for this first look, I'm going to do an all matte look. I haven't done one of those in a while, and there's so many beautiful matte shadows in this palette that I want to play with. So I'm first going to start off with the shade Serpula, this kind of mustardy color, and I'm going to put this through the crease. I love a mustardy, like baby puke color in the crease. I love it. Next, I'm gonna go in with the shade Veil, which is like a burgundy. I'm gonna put this a little lower in the crease and in the outer corner as well. That red blended effortlessly. Gorgeous. I'm gonna go on to the outer corner just to deepen it up even more with the shade Ulo, not sure how it's pronounced, but this deep dark brown, and just place this in the outer corner. So I'm actually going to do a cut crease. I like to do this to carve out the space on my lid and then place a matte, like a very light matte shadow for contrast. And I feel like putting a concealer underneath really makes the light matte pop. So I am gonna take the Morphe concealer. I definitely, if you are gonna do this, I would definitely suggest doing it with a matte concealer so that it completely dries down. Personally, it works for me. So this is in the shade Sand 5W, and another tip, I hope that this brush is still available. It only comes in a brush set from Alamar Cosmetics, but this is my favorite brush to do cut creases with because it's like a mini fan brush. It is so easy to just dip into the concealer and carve out with this shape for me personally. So I'm gonna take the concealer, put it on the back of my hand. I'm gonna pick it up on the brush and carve it out. And I like to do it so I don't know if you can see there's a slant. So on the upper part of my lid, I bring it a little further out. That's just the shape I like. I don't think they're perfectly even, but It's all good. I just wiped off the brush as much as I could. I'm gonna use the other side and I'm gonna go into the shade Asper, this kind of like yellowy color, and that's the color I'm gonna use on my lid, just going over the concealer. The right eye definitely came out better than the left eye, but when I add lashes, nobody's gonna notice, okay? So I am actually going to add a winged liner with this, and I wanna use a brown liquid liner. This one is from Lawless. It's the Easy Eyes Ultra Precise Liquid Liner in the shade Coco. All right, I'm gonna go off camera. I am going to match the other side, get some more makeup on my face, and I will come back and we can continue with the look. Hey, okay, I'm back. Let's finish up the eye look. By the way, I wanted to pull out the All Done Up palette just to show you if you have the All Done Up palette, which is a pretty small palette from for Blend Bunnies sizes. It's the same size virtually as All Done Up. It is a little thicker. It's slightly bigger, but pretty much the same size as All Done Up if you're curious. So I'm gonna go back into the Rotten palette. I'm going to use that darkest matte shade Ulo, and I am going to push this up against my lower lash line. Guys, I washed my brushes yesterday, so is there a better feeling than being able to pick any brush that you want and it's clean? I would argue that there isn't. I'm gonna take a little pencil brush and I'm gonna go into the shade Veil, that burgundy shade, and blend it out. And I'm gonna blend that out with Serpula, that first matte shade I used. And for my inner corner, I'm going to use the matte white called Oxygen. All right, I'm gonna go into the Efflorescence palette for my highlighter. I wanna use the yellowy one called Wax. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but this one has a yellow shift to it. That is stunning. Can you see it has that yellow shift to it? I can see it pretty strongly here. Yeah, wow, I actually kind of maybe put a little too much on. Wow, is that beautiful. So like I said, it has a translucent base. So like when I look straight on, you can't see like a cast, but when I turn my head, you can see that yellow. The sparkle particles are not chunky. They are a little more on the fine side, but very beautiful. Wow, a little goes a long way with this. Wow, that is incredible. And then for the lips, I did line and fill in my lips with Charlotte Tilbury's Iconic Nude Lip Liner. And now I wanna go in with Blue Tears on top. I actually wanna try to do like a very light layer, make it a little more sheer. So that gave just a little bit less, I mean, it's still pretty pigmented. Like it looks like a grayish black with blue, and it feels more on the balmy side. Like it doesn't feel really slippy like the Jordan Liberty lip gloss oils or whatever that they've done in the past. That feels very slippy. This doesn't feel very slippy. It feels balmy. So that's interesting. I will definitely have to keep using this because this is definitely a different formula from the other versions they've done in the past, but all right, let me go ahead and go off camera. Let me finish up the rest of the look, get my hair together, and I will come back to show you the final look. All right, and this is the finished look number one. What do you think? I think it came out really pretty.
So you agree? What? You think you're really pretty?
You know me out here always trying to create a neutral look with any palette that I can, and you definitely can create neutral looks with this palette. I feel like there are so many more neutral looks I can create, which I'm looking forward to doing, of course. But my next look, I want to do something with a little more color involved, and I definitely want to put one of these iridescent shades on my lid because on the face, stunning, very bright, a little bit goes a long way. So I feel like on the eyes, it's gonna really pop. Very much looking forward to that. So yeah, I'm excited. All right, I'm gonna send you off to look two now. All right, let's do a second look with the collection. Like I said, I want to do something a little more colorful. I actually think I'm going to use the blues. Yes, you heard me right. I'm going to go into the shade Spoil right here, this bright blue, and I'm going to put this through the crease. I have already primed my eyes. And I'm just pressing it to get the maximum amount of pigment, but it is pretty darn pigmented. I would expect nothing less from Blend Bunny. I'm gonna take this really small, like denser flat brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Damp, even lighter blue. I'm gonna layer this in my inner corner as well as kind of the inner part of my crease and onto my lid as well. I'm next gonna go into the gray shade called Organic. I'm gonna put this in the crease and in the outer corner. I'm gonna take that same shade and just bring it onto my lower lash line in the outer part of my lower lash line. Now I'm gonna go into the navy blue called Mildew and put this in the very outer corner of my eye. I'm gonna go into the Efflorescence palette and I wanna pick up the shade Loom right here, which is the blue shifting shade. Oh, it's like a bluish purple. That is so pretty. And I'm just gonna tap this over the inner 2/3 of my lid. No glitter primer or anything underneath it. I just wanna go in dry and layer it. Ooh, that is so beautiful. That is stunning. I think I do want just a little more brightness in my inner corner. So I am gonna go into the matte white called Oxygen and just layer that over that light blue in my inner corner. I actually want to take the shade right here, and I want to use this as my highlighter. Oh yeah, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. These as highlighters are just stunning. Wow. I am curious to see how this looks on the lips without anything underneath it. So I did just have a lip oil. I just wiped off my lips. I'm gonna go in with this just on its own. Yeah, as you can see, it's very pigmented. So you can definitely see those little sparkle particles in there. Again, a very balmy feeling. It's not lip oil-esque. It's not called a lip oil, it's called a lip glaze. So that makes sense. But it's not like a slippy lip gloss, which probably means it's going to be long lasting. So, okay, I'm gonna go off camera. I am gonna finish up the rest of the look. I'm gonna wipe this off and put on a different lip. And then I will show you the final look and just give you my initial thoughts on this collection. All right, and this is the finished look number 2. What do you think? Listen, you guys know I'm not a blue girl, but this is really pretty. I'm really liking, I mean, the iridescent shade on my lid is really making it. Like, it's really making it pop for me. It is so beautiful. So, I mean, my initial impressions on this collection are, first of all, the all matte palette. I'm always here for Blend Bunny mattes. I'm always here to have a palette full of Blend Bunny mattes, and I love the color story of this. It is very grungy, muted, a lot of neutrals, but there are some pops of color in here, light, mid-tone, and deep. It's got a lot of options, and I'm definitely gonna look forward to traveling with this. I like it. I like it. I like how small it is. I like the cover. I'm really a big fan, and it's the good Blend Bunny matte quality I expect and know. The Efflorescence palette, I think, is a very unique and really good product to have in their line because it is very small, very slim. You could easily pack this in a makeup bag. You've got every type of color, every type of undertone. You can use these as highlights. You can use them on the eyes. You could probably even tap them on the lips. That would be really pretty. And I like that they are smaller pans, and you could even put one of these in the palette here. You know, if you wanted to make a matte and shimmer palette, I love it. And if you missed out on the Noctilucent highlighter palette that Blend Bunny used to have, I feel like these are very comparable to those. So I'm excited that they have these in their line now. The lip glaze, I want to keep testing it. Like I said, it's a very balmy formula. It's definitely not slippy and slidey, and it is very, very pigmented. Like, you are going to see this blue shift. Honestly, I am more of like a nude lip, barely there lip person, so I don't know how much use I'm gonna get out of this, but it's definitely a unique product. And on MEI, when she put it on her lips, it looked absolutely gorgeous on her. Like, she can pull it off more than me, I think. So yeah, it's very cool, unique product to have in their line. Congratulations, MEI. Congratulations, Blend Bunny. You created something really beautiful. And now that you've watched this video, let me know your final thoughts. What do you think about this collection? Did you pick it up? Are you gonna pick it up? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye.